Come, the answers will be revealed.
The Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
Clickety click.
Crank up the... Crank up the music. Keep an eye on the back.
This presentation is provided to you to amuse or entertain, and not to conform or inform. The content on this channel should not be used to replace professional, financial, medical, or legal advice. All footage taken and used from the public sources follow the Digital Millennial Copyright Act of 1998, and therefore no breach of privacy or copyright has been committed. The show is sustainably sourced and not affiliated with any community, club, fraternity, or gang. Your cat may vary. Moo.
I told my wife I think the dryer is shrinking all my clothing, and she gently sat me down and explained to me I was wrong. Turns out the refrigerator is shrinking my clothing.
Satellite tracking continues.
Wow. Wow. Hey, everybody. We did it again. We're on the right side of the grass, and it's a Friday night. Put your hands in the air like you just don't care, right? Or something like that. I don't have anything like that. You have all my drops. We'll do those when I come on screen, which I should probably do and say hi to everyone. Let's see. Click this button.
Clickety click.
And then I cough at y'all. Hey, how's everyone doing? Good to be seen by y'all. And it's another Friday night. We made it. And I tonight's show, I wanted to kind of go over some basics because I'm hearing from a lot of new people that are not just finding my show, but are new to this whole journey that we've been on, or at least my wife and I have been on probably since I'd say 2017. And I've been on YouTube talking about it since right about there. And then I started doing my Friday show. It'll be 3 years in March. And, January. It was 3 years this January. Wow. Time flies. But yeah, so I've been doing this Friday show. I think I've only missed a few. So, somebody could do the math. I don't know, but it's a lot of Friday night shows.
That's very true.
What's that, Silent Wife? No. A lot of people number their shows. It's just like one more thing for me to do and mess with, and I don't feel like doing or messing with it. So that's the way that is. I find myself having less and less time on my hands to do things. And as more and more people are finding my show, I'm getting more emails and more requests. Our soap making is taking off, which is wonderful. And in fact, by the way, request, Jen you called me. If you're listening to this, I'll call you back after the show. I just saw that. We had all kinds of things going on we had stuff going on outside, trees breaking because of the snowstorm. We had grandkids visiting. And and trying to put the show together and try to do my best to get a hold of everyone in a timely fashion. And so, look at this. Well, hey, Jamie, and you're relatively new to me, and thank you. She's binged watch my channel and seen a lot of great things in there, of course. And but thank you very much for this. I'll do my little commercial at the beginning here. All support is very welcome for things like what just happened. We had a snowstorm and 4 large, or not large, but they were long, spindly trees right in front of our house. And they were huge. How tall were they? Over 100 feet, probably, or better. 200 feet, maybe 200 feet. We're going with 200 feet. And we had this weird snowstorm right after they sprayed the skies. And then these birch trees all just like snapped. And by God's grace, they all missed the house. Like one fell into the driveway, 2 fell. One was leaning on the house, and 2 others fell in a way that one's broken at the top, and we'll have to get some kind of crane or something to grab that to get it off the house so it doesn't damage it. And so things like that, expenses you don't expect. That's what happens. And so thank you. All support is welcome. And I'm not doing a thing where I do like GoFundMe's or whatever. I produce this show, and maybe if you find the content enjoyable and you spend some time here and you enjoy this with the camaraderie or the jokes or whatever, and we've learned things, or you steal some memes like I do, then, there's a whole bunch of things in the description links where you can donate if you decided to do that. And if you don't have the money or you don't worry about that either. There's shows free on YouTube. And I appreciate anybody that comes here and supports me. So, and as far as the memberships, thank you very much. I see some green names in there. Those are people that have done memberships, and it's a way of supporting the channel. And I appreciate it. You can do a Patreon, that kind of thing. I'm not actually making any extra content right now for those, but I'll try. I have put some extra things like on Rockfin because there's subscribers over there, and I try to make it so there's a reason that you're doing that and supporting me in that way, and I appreciate all of that. But just the people showing up here, the chat is amazing, the thoughts and prayers, all that. Just all that. Write me a letter, write me a postcard. I haven't heard from my pen pals lately, but they've sent me all kinds of things in the mail, and so stuff like that is really fun. And I do want to use this show. I'm not that like prayer chain kind of guy, but I do believe in the power of prayer, and I do believe in the power of like a massive prayer. And I would like to send out a specific, to anyone that's dealing with pain, suffering, hurt, sickness. Specifically, I was asked by Trisha C. And so, if we could all just send out some prayers for healing to whoever's hurting at this time and need it, but also specifically, like I said, Trisha C. asked for that. She's going through some tough times with health. So I guess I was going to find something on here because this young man here, where'd he go? Hang on, talk amongst yourselves. I can't find it now. Where are you at? Come on. Oh, one more second. Here we go. This young man can't keep his pants on. I keep telling him to get a belt, but no belt for this guy. But he says, verily I say unto you, blessed is the day the Lord hath made. Let us join together in oath and swear to rejoice and be glad in it, in Jesus Christ's name. And so he has some amazing prayers. I don't know, he just makes them up on the spot. But I would like to just say that and add to it. Please, Jesus, watch over us and help us and guide us through these times. Bring us the Holy Spirit and the Comforter. Hear our prayers right now and help those that are hurting, help those that are lost, help those that are lonely, and heal those that are sick. We thank you for all of our blessings. Please continue to watch over us and help us in these times. We need you now more than ever. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay. So, in this show, yes, there is spirituality to it, and we pray. That's the thing. There's a lot of true channels, and they'll teach you all kinds of things, but the one thing they won't do is go over God or prayer. And in fact, if I do a video and I'll put on it that anything about the Bible, I'll immediately lose a percentage of viewers, and it's sad. It's another psyop that has been passed on throughout these generations, something to not look at. And you need to break through those strongholds, and you need to look into things yourself. I'd say do your own research, but that's apparently a trigger word now, puts you on a watch list. And I'm not worried right now because I'm already on a dozen of them, I'm sure. Okay. So we're all here because
I got nowhere else to go. I got nowhere else to go.
right? I don't know. I like my drops. But hey, you could have got anywhere, but you know what? Here we are.
And so here we are.
It's one of my new favorite ones. Okay, so let's see. What are we doing here? So since I've got a lot of new people showing up, and I have one gentleman that we've actually started connecting with and doing a Bible study. It's fascinating because when we met him and his wife, they were well versed on the Bible and the psyops that are going on in the world. However, they hadn't heard of like the changes in the book, the Mandela, and potentially the times that we're in as far as where we are in the timeline of our story. And it's funny because there was a gentleman that we met up to try to do this with, and as soon as I got to that part, we never heard from him again. And that's okay. I mean, it happens. It's a triggering thing. But I have noticed a lot of people, including this couple, that were very open to the idea, at least listening to the ideas of things. My dogs are eating down there, if you hear it. But they're open to the ideas of listening to new ideas on this subject. And so I've started creating a flyer with the Bible changes to help people see them if they haven't seen them, and give them a perspective, at least my perspective, of why it's happening, is showing us the times that we're in and that the time is short. And people like myself never even believed in any of this, all this stuff I talk about. Go back, say, maybe 6-7 years ago, I didn't believe in any of this stuff.
I don't know why you always have to be judging me. Because I only believe in science.
Yeah, and I didn't believe in this. I never read this book, the Bible, or like that. And then we had time off, And we started looking into things, and lo and behold, we find out all kinds of lies in the world. And so one of the things that I've been doing is I do, like, when people write to me or talk to me in private, I listen to their ideas, and it helps me get this message out, because that's what I feel I'm supposed to do here. And so I started putting things in folders and stuff, which I never have. But what I found is doing a live show for 3 years, however many that is, four a month, and then let's see, 52 weeks a year, I guess, times 3. So that's like probably 10,000 shows I've done. And so
Bullshit!
okay, so maybe there was more like, I don't know, 150 to 200, somewhere in that range. But before I even did the live show, I was doing guest spots on other shows, because I had all this knowledge, this information. I had time off, and I was looking into everything. And my phones were getting filled with pictures, memes, whatever, articles, information. And so I started putting into these computers. And what you find is, when you go to look for something, unless you're like Shapu, who has incredible folders, and somehow you can't find anything. And then sometimes I found, like I was working today, I had like the same photo, like, 8 times. And so I tried working to scale down the computer and put things in order, so maybe I can give presentations or so when somebody asks me, what is this all about? Because they're new to the whole idea of this show. And I don't like the background behind me. It's getting distracting. So let me change that. I'll put it to the Mariner. Now, that's going to be even more distracting. Let's see. How about Biden just walking around? You can't even see him. What do we do? I'll put this on there. There we go. That's better. Okay. So we're good. See, it's so distracting. I don't remember what we were saying. We? Who's we? Where do we go here? Let's see. I'll tell you what, let's we'll get out of this. Sometimes that helps me think. This is one of those times. Oh, I know. So I was talking how I was on a bunch of different shows. I would guest appearance and things. And then I was on with some fake cowboys for a while. And then I've partnered with so many different people throughout the years, because it has been about, we're at 2024 or so, they say. That's going on about 7 years of me doing different things on YouTube. By myself or with other people. And so I've covered a lot of information, and I feel like it's all been talked about and you guys are bored with it. But at the same time, I'm realizing it feels like, to me anyways, and to my wife, there's almost like a second awakening happening. Something happened in 2012. The Mayan calendar, which used to have an N, but Mandela affected itself. There's no N in Mayan. It's always been Maya. But in 2012, I remember back in that day, I'm old enough to start looking into it, because they told us that the world was ending, and planes were going to fall out of the sky. And that was Y2K. But on Mayan calendar ending, it was going to be the end of the world. Well, what we're finding, at least what I feel, is, of course, the world didn't end. We're all here, but something happened. Something changed right around that time. That was sort of like the first big push of the people that woke up and started talking about the subjects that I and others talk about. And I feel that it's happening again, because I'm noticing a lot of new names. And in addition to that, people in my real life, some of them that, even though they still talk to me a little bit, thought I'd lost my mind and didn't listen to any of the things that I'm saying. A few, not many, a few. Okay, a couple. Right, maybe one. No, but there's been a couple that have started to see the things that I've been talking about. And it's a blessing, but at the same time, it's like your knee-jerk reaction is, well, man, where have you been? I've been talking about this for 5-6 years or whatever, and you dismissed me and all. But you can't do that, because you have to remember, at least speaking for myself, and that's what this whole channel is. All these ideas are mine. You have to remember that at least I or you, they, whatever, in thought just like the opposite way of I'm thinking now. In other words, if someone wanted to talk to me about Jesus, I'm out of the room. If someone wanted to tell me something in the Bible, I'm gone. Someone wants to tell me that there's a Mandela effect happening, or that the news lies to me, or we didn't go to the moon, I would have laughed at all of those things and just thought they were nuts. Well, here we are. Oh, wait, where is she? That's why I had to grab her. She says it's better than me. Where'd it go? Dang it. So here we are.
And so here we are.
And so I'm on the other side of this. I've pulled back the curtain and went, wow, I can't believe I've been lied to all these years. And so rather than sit back and just say, I told you so, gets us nowhere, I'm excited that there's new people finding this information. And so welcoming with open arms and welcome aboard. And if there's questions that you have that you still have after like say this program, write me, please, ceilingfanman2020@gmail.com. And I'll try to incorporate those that question or whatever into future shows like I'm doing tonight. And I've done other nights too, prayer requests and things like that. And don't forget, I don't know if you all heard, I've been changing the fair use at the beginning of the show. And of course, this one was brought to us by Joe, wonderful man. And but so far I've gotten, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have 2 more. And if you go on my community page, I have it written out, the disclaimer at the beginning. If you'd like your voice to say the disclaimer, I don't know, I think it's kind of fun. You don't have to, but if you'd like to, send a little, voice clip to my email, and I'll put you in rotation. I think I have 2 more to go. So I need to fill that in. So please, if you feel like it, go ahead and indulge me. Let's see. What's that? Is Melanie not here? Huh. Well, she's very tardy.
Melanie, it's all your fault.
Where she is. All right. She must be helping. She's a very good Samaritan. So, and yes, thank you, Nia. Please thumb it up if you enjoy my work. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hey, hon, down there. What was the name of that channel that I was supposed to remember? Someone said they were going to shout me out to a channel. So Karen? We'll find out. Just let me know, and I'll move along. So, okay. And look at that. I don't know how you did that, but Pants on the Ground, he's gifted out memberships. So, Rethink got one. And Rethink got one? Oh, no. Now we're in trouble if Rethink got one. Which Rethink? Is it number 75, 76? Oh, and I see Salted Cedar in there. I haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? Good to see you. Okay. Just talking about Salted Cedar. I know. That's the way this works. That's the way it works. So, and yes, you're in our prayers, Trish. That was we were talking about earlier. So, okay. And let's see. My goodness, look at this. Oh, thank you so much. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in here for a long time. I hope all is well. God bless you. So yeah. And here's another one I've seen a lot of. Hey, good to see you, Zulu. And Pants On is throwing out the green. I don't know how he does it, but thank you for that, Pants On. And so let's see. What else do we do? Okay. And all right. So I'm going to, let's get into some of this nonsense. And okay, let's see, not that one. Where should we go first? You want to see something silly? Of course. A while back, I was doing shows with a gentleman named Dave. He goes by channel Trinity 4. And I believe that's where he's at, is number 4. And clickety click here. And then Steve JMO. And we've done a few shows about Africa, and I'll probably do some more eventually. But did you ever see this? This is me when I had the kick-ass beard. Let's see. Is the screen sharing? Hopefully.
You asked for it. I'm giving it. Ceiling fan man gravy.
Oh, there's no volume.
It's gonna be so
There.
much gravy.
Let's try it again. Can you see the beard?
You asked for it. I'm giving it. Ceiling fan man gravy.
Let's make this larger there.
There's going to be so much gravy in this stream. You won't even understand it. There's going to be so much gravy in this stream. You'll be talking about it for weeks on end. Months on end. Maybe even years. Oh, shit. Don't tell Mom.
Let me get myself off the screen.
Women, journey people.
How do you do this?
To this journey as we journey together.
There.
Journey. Three channels coming together. Who are they? One, Ceiling Fan Man. The other, Trinity 4. Who is Trinity? Just some handsome man walking the street trying to prove Tartaria buildings and pre-mud flood buildings, while at the same time being just an amazing dad. To find out the man that is known as Trinity, the shirtless guard. Oh, come on. He's a scientist. He follows science. And hopefully he'll be dressed. And the other, Steve JMO. Steve JMO. Some say the smartest young man on the internet. Or it was him. Or it was me. But either way, the young man from Springfield. Springfield, yeah, right. Even if he doesn't know where he is, with Jen, Truth Seeker 69, and Bobby Stevens by his side, they will break down walks through cemeteries, even though no matter how many times people ask him, he'll never turn his camera to landscape. Whether he's breaking down the old world or the new world, the brickwork and the misinformation of our world, he will always be a badass. You feel me?
That's pretty badass.
Three brilliant minds, all coming together for one night only on the same stream.
Don't cross the streams.
Ceiling Fan Man, Trinity 4, Steve JMO, Second Shelf Gravy, on an adventure to deepest, dark Africa. Africa? We're going to Africa?
Africa. It's in Africa.
Toto.
Is that Africa by Toto?
Wow, Africa.
Satellite tracking continues.
So, hope you enjoyed that look down memory lane. But that all kind of came about because I have this book, and that's another thing I could go over. I got this book called Chariots of the Gods, and in it, there's a map of the flat Earth, and Africa was center north. So, excuse me. But I also find it interesting. I've got a video I'm going to play tonight where there's a young man that's thinking that he's found where Eve and maybe God's Mount Zion is. So we'll look at that tonight. And so that was what I used to do back then, different shows like that. Look at this. God bless you. Thank you all in chat. CFM for bringing us together tonight. Prayers for all of you who need prayers. We're warriors in Christ. Hugs. Thank you so much. That is 100% needed and necessary, that we are warriors in Christ. And don't let people silence you. You know, there's so many people that try to dismiss this whole prayer thing. We can't. That is our weapon that we have. That is our we're something that we're supposed to do. And there's a lot of hold on a second. I'm hearing an echo. Where are you at? Hang on a second. Talk among yourselves. Okay. Hi, everyone. You figured it out? Okay, cool. Oh, good. So, yeah, the thing worse than you all having to listen to me drone on is me having to listen to me again as I'm doing it. So, where was I at? I don't even know. But yes, thank you for that, the money, and thank you for the prayers. That everyone needs those prayers. We are prayer warriors, and they say that there's angels just waiting to answer prayers. And so, don't forget. Well, I forget. I go on the screen and tell everyone to pray, and I forget. So. Do better. Okay. All right. Where are we at here? Let's see. Let's go down here. What is this? Do I have cooking funnels? I don't know what that is. Could you expand a cooking funnel? Not sure. Okay. And Mac is trying to catch up in 2 times speed. So if I talk faster, then he wouldn't be able to hear anything. Right? Okay. And some people are just showing up, it looks like. Looks like Freya just showed up.
And so...
I don't feel dirty.
And you know what? Melanie's not here yet, Freya, so you might be safe. I don't think anyone's getting detention until she shows up. So we'll find where she is. Okay, what's next? Where was I going with this? Let's see. Why don't we start with okay. Well, I don't know. I'm all over the place in here. We'll figure this out together. Let us go and look at some tabs here. Let's see where we're at. And thank you for showing up here. I'm going to do better. All right. Let's see. Clickety click. Okay. So these were sent to me, and I'll put them in the chat. But the problem I have with this is I'm not sure if anybody in the chat knows who this young man is. He's the one that actually did the video. But there's a whole bunch of people now. All they do is they just put their face on the side of the screen and call it their material. All they do is just sit there the whole time and just like shake their head and nod yes and stuff. And to me, it's very distracting. So rather than show you those, I had, let's see, where'd it go? I think it's in this. Did I put it in this one? Yeah, here it is. I put it together. Put it together like this. Can you hear the audio on that? I'll double check the chat here. Oh, and I'm still not on the screen. Oh, that's odd and unfortunate. Okay, let's see. So we go in here. Go back. Oh, wrong one there. All right, we'll figure this out. We'll click here, and we'll go over here, and I got to put myself, I think, like this. That's the way that works. Oh, here it is. Wrong button. Okay. Now we're back. We're cooking with Crisco. Or butter. Cook with butter. Hopefully Voynich is still awake. I feel bad that he was falling asleep because I was 10 minutes late. Okay. Now, hopefully you can hear the sound. Let me back it up here. Bop, bop, bop.
We have all been programmed to believe that there is no land at the North Pole.
Did you guys all hear that? I'll just wait for the chat to catch up. Give me I heard it or a 5x5 or something. And NDB's here. He used to be called No Despair Bear, but I really got tired of typing that, so he graciously changed it to NBB. I like it. ABC, NDB, we got them all. Okay. And Fire Goggle says yes, so we'll continue. Okay. Here we go.
Just a bunch of ice sheets, nothing to see here. What if I told you that this is far from the truth? Not only is the North Pole home to the most exceedingly high mountain in the world, Mount Zion, the mountain of God, which is spoken about all throughout the Bible, It is also home to paradise, the Garden of Eden, which is still here to this day. Now prepare for a big awakening.
Now, a couple things. I truly believe that the Garden of Eden is still here on Earth for a couple reasons. Because there's at the end of the book, there is a big war that happens, and Jesus and the saints, they're all surrounded during this war. Well, that can't happen if they're not still here on Earth. In addition to that, he mentions that I've said before too, that it's guarded by angels that basically will kill you if you try to get there. God doesn't allow anyone through there unless they've had the glorified bodies. So like Adam and Eve had it until they were cast out. And then if you believe like I do, there's a lot of evidence that says that the millennial reign has already happened, and we're past that, and we're in the short season or little season, pizza, of Satan. And if that's the case, then they have glorified bodies, so they would be able to live in Eden. We can't. Our bodies were changed. I read the extra books besides the Apocrypha, I think it's how you say it, and let's see, there's Jasher and there's Enoch, but there's also the books of Adam and Eve. And I've read that and done some shows on it. And one of the things it says is there's a time, because that's the sad thing, is like when you read that story, Adam, apparently Eden is so amazing. I mean, he's literally trying to kill himself to get back to it. And he finds a way to get to it, I guess, at one point. And they say that there's an angel at the gate that doesn't know what to do, because his whole existence is to just destroy anyone that tries to get in. But it's Adam. And so he doesn't do it, and he waits for God to answer it. It's a really cool story. And so then I truly believe that it's still here, and it's an area we can't go to. Now, this book that I have that shows Africa center north in the map, I find interesting because there's a lot of mystery with going on with Africa. And I also talk about Mount Kilimanjaro, which it's the tallest mountain or so in existence, supposedly, or volcano. It's one or both of those. And so that's where I've always kind of hung my hat. However, I found fascinating because I have this map. We actually have this and another one similar hanging. And it does have this mountain in the middle. And it's kind of like when you walk around and you see old buildings throughout the world, and you never really give it a thought as to how they were made in the day and time that they were made, including you can't even make a lot of these today, and why they were made. And there's a lot of questions, and we just walk by and take a picture and then go and see what's for lunch. And it's the same thing. I have these maps. I've stared at them. I've talked about this subject so much in the last several years, but I've never looked at that particular mountain, at least in this way, as this young man. So here's what he has to say on it, without the guy behind it going like this. Although I guess I'm that guy now. I'll do it. Let's see, put like this, I guess. Yeah, okay.
One of the first ever maps created of the North Pole in the 1500s. I want you to focus on the middle here. You have a mountain with a river coming out of it, and then you have 4 rivers coming out of that river in the middle. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads. So you have the river flowing out of Eden, which is directly under Mount Zion.
So that matches, because again, I have this map. So it's interesting. Of course, you could say, well, maybe someone drew the map to match that, but most people didn't want to discuss things in the Bible. It's to this day, they still don't. So I find that a really interesting point he's got there.
And you have the 4 rivers parting from that one big river. A lot of people think that God took the Garden of Eden to heaven, but why would he be guarding it with cherubims and a flaming sword if it was in heaven?
I'm putting the wrong
Now
way.
back to the map. That mountain in the middle, it is called the Rupus Nigra. It's straight from Wikipedia. Rupus Nigra means black rock. Rupus Nigra is a black rock magnetic mountain located at the North Pole.
And for those of us playing along, before he even gets into it, I'm sure when you heard the word black rock, you realized besides Vanguard, they've just appeared kind of, and suddenly everyone knows their name, just like Cheers, and they own everything that Vanguard doesn't.
Funny how the biggest investment company in the world is BlackRock. They know the truth. Not to mention, Rupus Niger is 33 French miles wide. Remember who loves the number 33? The Freemasons. So soon after this map came out, the map started looking like this. Unknown region, what is that? Here's your NASA satellite footage, just a couple of big black holes in the center. Oh, nothing to see here. So here I am in Psalm 48. Look what it says here. City of our God and the mountain of his holiness, beautiful for situation. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion, because it's in the center of the earth, on the sides of the north. So this mountain is the joy of the whole earth, and it is in the north. Look what it says here, beautiful for situation. The beautiful for situation, the biblical usage is the elevation, the height. This is an exceedingly high mountain. It's not the Mount Zion, which is in Jerusalem, which is only 2,500 feet high. That's a foothill. That mountain was named after the real Mount Zion. And the devil taking him up into a high mountain, he showed Jesus all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time.
And now that statement proves flat earth, because on a ball, on a globe, the devil couldn't stand on the highest point and show Jesus all the kingdoms, because some would be upside down in Australia. G'day, mate.
Where did he take him? Took him to the exceedingly high mountain in the middle of our earth, in the North Pole. Now here's even more proof. This is a live view of the wind finder at the North Pole. What is that big old thing there blocking the wind? Guys, Mount Everest cannot even divert the wind. But there's something here at the North Pole that is diverting the wind. If y'all want a part 2 of this series, let me know in the comments.
So, and he goes on from there. But yeah, I found that fascinating, because there's a lot to be said about that. And I was looking while he was talking, but I don't see it here somewhere. That's not it. That's the atlas. I know where it is. Let's see. It's right behind me. Let me go grab that book. I made this for a friend of mine. God bless her. I still miss her to this day. She passed away. They medicated her to death, but she was Italian. And so even though it's the Papa Rouse song, which you might hear later, this was dedicated to her. And it's just a minute or so. I'm just going to grab that book and I'll show you. Okay. All right, I can't find it, but did you guys like those jokes? Hopefully. So, but it has landmass at the North Pole, and it even has like some names and stuff. I'll look for it and I'll screenshot it and put it somewhere, and then probably lose it in a folder. But yeah, so there are land masses in some old maps, and of course now they just say there's nothing there but ice and water. North Pole is gone, so I don't know where Satan Claus lives anymore to hand out toys.
True. Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I will put that video the way it is with the person on the side in the chat, because I don't have a way of sending you mine. Unless you ask for it, I'll mail it to you, I guess, or email it. But here, I'll copy and paste. You're over here. Clickety click. We'll go into this. So that was that video I played on the North Pole. And then somewhere over here are my Rockfin people. Let me grab that for those people over there. Thank you, wonderful people that are over on Rockfin. Oh, and I'm talking. There we go. I'll throw it in there. And done. Okay. So let me go back over here. And we also are on Twitter. If somebody's watching there, hello. So, okay. So what do we have? Let's see. Let me think. Where are we at? Is that where he's moved to? I see what you did there. Where's you get one of these? Oh, I do have a funny audience, I must admit. And all right, so let's see where we're at. Let me go back over here. We'll get rid of that. Get rid of that. Oh, and so I did a few shows on my take on birds. I'm ready to do another one, and every time I talk about birds and pigeons and how I think things are fake, some sus in some of the birds, more stuff. Of course, that's the way this internet, this matrix works. More stuff comes flying at me. More bird things come flying at me. Okay. And then, so let me pull up this article here.
Oh, wow. Is that a mockingbird?
Isn't that a mockingbird? Isn't that a mockingbird? And no, I'm not tired of that one yet. So until I get tired of it, you keep having to watch it. So if birds aren't, at least some of them, if some of them aren't fake, someone explain this. Huh? Now that looks like it's fake to me. I don't think that bird's real. So I'm already proven right. There are some birds that are just drones. They're pretty nasty ones too. Whoever this is must have hated that person. Okay. But then how about this? This is a quote actual news article. Scientists in New Mexico are giving, and I covered this, giving dead birds a new life by converting them into drones. And you can find stories on this, real quote news stories, not onion news. But yeah. So what's the difference between this and this? Well, obviously this one's not quite as stealthy, but that is a real news article. And then I came across this, which really depressed me, is every time you ask if birds are real, we will send another one to watch you, said the Ministry of Truth. I've heard of that group before. And Mr. Beast fan, I'm not saying birds are fake. I'm saying there are some birds that are misrepresenting themselves. They're sus. Exactly. They are sus. Where's that? I thought I had another one here to show you. Where to go? Because the subjects that I've done on birds, first of all, I believe some of them are potentially angels, because I've discussed this before. There's 2/3 of the angels that didn't fall, and they're still working with God. And so if you wanted to have angels flying around in front of everyone and not freak everyone out, you can hide them as birds, because nobody even thinks about the birds. They don't name them. They don't notice them. They just go about their day. And again, I'm not saying all of them are, but definitely there are some sus. And think about this. If birds, why do we only find birds that die of trauma? Where are all the old birds? Where are all the dead old birds of old age. And birds have wings, angels do. Birds fly, angels do. There's a lot of things that would tell me, in addition to the multiple reasons that I think that there's some angels. And I can quote you Bible passages that talk about birds being angels. I can quote you the fact that God says the birds are from the heavens. And there's multiple ways, which maybe I'll cover on a bird show. But then, there's this, because some of the birds are sus and not necessarily angels, but potentially just drones, like the ones that hang out at these charging stations, right? And I just, I haven't gotten to that stage yet, but I have called out some pigeons, just saying. Okay, enough of that. Okay, let's see. What do we have here? And I tell you something else. I see some weird stuff just around here. This showed up in my backyard. It's a, quote, dragonfly that just happens to have like a face on it, which is pretty. I mean, it was weird because I have a bunch of pictures of it because it came right at my foot and just sat there staring at me. And it was like during the summer or something because I had shorts on. And it wasn't until it started to fly closer to like up to my thigh. And then I was like, all right, I'm done with you. And I smacked it to go away. But I've also videoed, I'll find it. I've some weird like fairy creature that flew by me one time. Multiple orbs I've filmed. So there's another existence going around us right now. But we've been taught to pretend that can't possibly be. And so we have these strongholds that we don't live in a world that has potentially, I don't want to even call them supernatural because it's the natural world. It just, we were taught it didn't exist. So we think it's supernatural. But it's not. They just tell us straight up, right in our faces, sometimes that we live in a matrix. Because we're on God's green earth. Make no mistake about it. But we're within Satan's matrix. We live in Satan's world, his ball, B-A-A-L, like the name for the devil. We live on the ball. We live in Satan's world. How do I know that? Because God just said it in that one passage. There's no way that Satan would be able to go up on top of the tallest mountain and show Jesus all the kingdoms and say, I'll give them all to you if you just worship me. For him to say, no, go screw yourself. If he didn't own them, he couldn't offer them. So he is allowed during these times to run this place. But God didn't leave. This is all part of the plan. See, God didn't leave us. God didn't forget about us. We forgot about him. And every time the what do you call it? Throughout history, every time God does all these amazing things and it gets all this wonderful praise and everyone's happy. And then we all forget him. Everyone. And we forget him. And so the only way he can bring us back to get us out of our Sodom and Gomorrah days, which, I mean, look around. It's happening if you see what's going on in the Tell Lies vision. They're promoting Sodom and Gomorrah worse than I think it was back in those days, or at least equivalent. We just don't see it because we think we're technologically advanced and we're way smarter than the people back in the Bible days. And yet we can't build the buildings that they built. We don't understand anything that's going on because we've stopped continuing the history. We stopped handing down these stories. We stopped believing in God. We stopped talking about God. We took the Bibles out of all of the everywhere, make it very difficult to find. And then if you do find it, thousands of channels to tell you that it's nonsense book and not to look at it. And so there's times when God has to shake us up, wake us up, let us know who we are, because we're in Satan's world and we're being deceived. Just like it was stated, it's going to happen. He deceiveth the whole world through pharmakia. You can see it happening right now. Revelations with the S in my mind is being played out right in front of us. And so he's there. He has to allow these things to happen. Why? Because we won't seek him. They say there's no atheists in foxholes. I don't believe there's any atheists. I believe people choose to believe in God or choose not to. But we were all born by the same system. We're all children of God, whether you choose to believe it or not. This is my right hand. I can choose to believe it's my foot, but it doesn't change the fact that this is my right hand. And 2 + 2 = 5. No, you just can't change things. So you can believe that you're not in the system I'm talking about. That's your choice. And you can believe in Satan, but not God. That's a choice too. I think it's a really poor one. But the whole reason I'm even here talking to you and you're listening, or at least you're here tonight, besides that you have nowhere else to go, is these things are making sense to me. And that's why I had to come on camera and start explaining it to everyone, to what's happening. Because, you have to believe that this happened in 1969.
Yeah, I think something rather important is coming up here.
Neil and Buzz, the President of the United States is in his office now and would like to say a few words to you. Over.
Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House.
And you can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
And this certainly has to be the most historic telephone call ever made from the White House.
Because it looks so fake.
Right? Because it looks so fake. And one of the things, one of my new people that are watching me was asking me my stance on this whole thing about the moon landing and stuff. And I'll show you the reasons. This is one of my awakenings. I started because someone had mentioned if you Google search satellites in space, all you get are cartoons. And so I did a lot of research on satellites. That's how I ended up with this ceiling fan nomenclature, whatever you call it, name. Trying to get fancy and I act like an idiot. Oh, that she likes. Yeah. And so I started looking at other things and oh my gosh, hang on a second. Someone just freaking showed up. For reals? Like, oh my gosh. All right, Melanie, you get detention. Everyone else doesn't get detention, but Melanie has to be in detention all by herself.
I don't feel dirty.
She comes in here and just slams her chair around, so I don't even remember what I was talking about. So, okay. Yeah, you like that one too. Yeah, anytime you, okay, fine, you guys. These aren't, what is it? These aren't the friends you wanted, they're the friends you deserve, I guess. Yeah. And I don't know, Melanie, while you were gone, see what happens when you're not here? Where'd it go? So this guy, Melanie, has a green name. I'm really concerned. Okay, what's next? Okay. Hey, Daryl, it's good to see you. Good to see you. An evening. Who's this? One more quarter. I give no quarter to tyrants. I like it. You're probably somebody that watches my auditor channels too. Yeah, they're great. So, okay. We good? Let's see what else we got. Okay. Let's see. We'll go back here. Where were we? I was looking at, we were covering the moon thing. Okay. So let's do that. Let's go to the moon pictures. Clickety click here and here. I think it's this one and this one and this one and that one. Okay. How do I make this larger, I guess? There we go. You guys see that? Cool. So when you start looking at these pictures and you realize in the pressurized system of space that these people survived in this thing with the gaps and like there's cellophane tape, there's tinfoil. When you start looking at these with a critical eye that you never did, you start noticing things like there's no dust or anything in this when it was landing. It's perfectly clean. There's absolutely no blast crater from when this was landing, which makes no sense. I mean, you can go on and on and on. There's people that study the shadows and stuff. And the fact that this car, supposedly, you could break this whole thing down and it somehow magically fits inside here, along with the 3 astronauts and all the oxygen that they need to survive multiple days on the moon. Even though, like most scuba tanks go for a few hours, theirs went for days, I guess. There's a lot of it's an endless rabbit hole once you start seeing these things. Help NASA rebuild the lost technology. I mean, this is an actual photo of the moon lander that we all watched go to the moon, and they survived in that, which they can't do this anymore. And in addition to the fact that you can read by a moonlight sometimes, the astronauts had no problems. But forget that for a moment. Why? Why does the moon take the color of the sky behind it? And I didn't take these exact pictures, but I have exact photos of this phenomenon, no matter what the color of the sky is. So to me, it's translucent, like God talks about it being a light, or like Enoch talks about it. It's not I believe, anything you can land on, because you can see through it. And when you look at all these things, they're all ridiculous. That's ours. I mean, we could take a vote, but there's no point as to who's the worst. So that's the USA moon mission. Look at the Soviet one. And I've played this. You can still find these. They're a little animated of this thing. This was the Indian one. I think that one just happened recently. There's China. Israelis got involved. Japan, this was funny. We just covered this one on the show. They landed theirs upside down, and then it righted itself somehow. Yeah, seems legit. So it's a joke. But when you don't have the eyes to see, like God says, you're blind to this. You don't notice it. But if you take the time to stare at it and go, this is a joke. I mean, come on. Oh, hey, Indoctrinated Ryan. Good to see you. Sarah's missed you. You've been gone a while. Glad that you're back. God bless you. Yeah, look. Here's a rock reflecting sunlight. And this is a glowing heavenly body. And make no mistake about it, the astronauts were on, and it wasn't like this. They never had problems like this. And how come, if this thing is 239,000 miles away, I've covered this before, I can see Tycho crater with my naked eye, which is, what is it, like 40 miles across or something, 50 miles across? It's called a naked eye object. And there's sometimes you get a supermoon, this thing almost fills the whole sky. Don't tell me that it's 239,000 miles away. This goes with the whole what's in the center of the earth. It's the same people that lie to you about the moon landing, that lie to you about the fact that we're flying through space on a ball that's spinning around other balls that are spinning. It's the same people that lie to you about dinosaurs, the same people that lie to you how old the earth is, same people that lie to you how magma shoots up in volcanoes and creates mountains. All of it is the same people that lie to you, because the deepest hole ever dug, still to this day, is less than, it's say 8 miles deep, which barely even cracks the surface of the Earth's crust. And yet they can tell you what's at the center of the Tootsie Pop when they can't even get past this little tiny spot here. Now, if I did that, you'd all say, oh, what an idiot. I can't listen to him. He's just making stuff up. But I do have a white coat. I should have worn it tonight. If you put on a white coat and it says science or doctor or whatever, people listen to you. That's part of the indoctrination camp that they do at school, that they do to us when we're kids. We're 5 years old. They throw us into a school. They point to a globe, say, that's where you live. You're spinning through space. They make you pledge your allegiance to a corporation, the United States of America, even though God says have no other allegiances. Well, okay, fine. And they tell you all this other stuff, and we just believe it. And it's our core. We learned it from the beginning. Why would we ever doubt it or question it? And then one day when you do question it, well, then you're mocked because nobody looks into it until someone like me goes on and starts talking. And then, oh God, 161 people are here listening to me ramble. But maybe just one or two or three of you, if you hadn't believed in this before, will look into these things. That's all I ask. I don't ask anyone to convert to anything I talk about. I ask you to look into it because you'll be shocked. You'll start seeing the things I do, like the fact they can't even make sense of their own. What does the Earthrise look like? Depending on what year it is, it can be many different things. And these are all NASA photos. I've taken a collection, like I said, of, well, probably now about 6 years worth of memes and stuff and put them all together. And now I'm putting them all in one file, and the file's probably going to be gigantic. But that one may be in a different spot. $50 million a day. In addition to the fact that they're hiding God. Because that's more the bigger issue than the money, is that they're hiding the God's existence and they're hiding who you really are. That's a big deal of it. So, see, this is where I started on my journey with space, is because I did this. And not only do you have to realize that they're all cartoons, but even if you found one that they say is, an image, because look up an image. Image no longer means photo. If you look up the definition, it could be a drawing or anything in addition to photo. So they always say it's a NASA image. So who took the photo or image of the other satellite? Do they have a secondary satellite like this flying behind it to photo the satellite to show? I mean, it's just, you start thinking about it, none of it makes sense. Your mind's been infected with cartoons. And there's a gentleman, if you can still find it, I did a show with someone that knew him very well, Matt Powerlin, and he had this real famous thing where he put up photo or painting, and you couldn't tell. And we have been deceived because there's certain things like this that are only cartoons. This is just cartoons, and the satellites, cartoons. Anything that you just see cartoons, it's sus. And if the silent wife's listening, can I get some water or something? I'm out of. I didn't plan well tonight, so I apologize. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, fire requires oxygen. And that isn't even a real picture of the sun. This is a CGI generated thing, and they say that. You can't film this. I don't care what you say. The people that say they can film it, they get digital information, and then a computer-generated animation comes from it. That's it. You can look at the sun. You'll never see this. Oh, good. She heard. Thank you. And it's not just me talking about it. If you look around, they all have flat Earth logos. World Meteorologist Organization, the International Civil Aviation Organization, the United Nations, and the International Maritime Organization. I found this interesting. I don't know if I pulled the story or not, but there's an Antarctic treaty where all these countries of the world got together and said no one's going to ever own Antarctica. And what was it? I think Iran just came out this week and said, no, we're going to build a base on there. I think there's 7 countries, they say, that actually do have a presence on there. We just pretend it's not happening, or they have a claim anyways. And the UN, of course, doesn't recognize it. But really interesting. If there's nothing going on out there, Why is so much interest in Antarctica? You can go down all kinds of rabbit holes and find out that there's like Nazi alien space stations there. Who knows what? Nephilim. I don't know. There's all kinds of craziness they say in Antarctica. And then you get that dude, was it Admiral Pike? No, that's the guy from Star Trek. What was it? Bird. Admiral Bird. Ha! Bird. Of course. Birds. He's sus. Because, thank you. Because there's no way here. Thank you. There's no way that you could go on TV. You can find it online still. And he's saying how there's all this other land and unlimited resources and all this stuff, unless they wanted that information out there. So, yeah, but it's kind of fascinating. What's this? Yeah, and you can look into the people that are talking about what they're spraying the skies with for weather modification, which they announced now. They come right out and say they're doing it. Multiple stories that I've covered even. But yeah, so they spell out ball. Interesting. Then there's all these questions about like when does the vacuum of space start? And this one I thought was interesting because when I found the lies of NASA and the moon landing, and I was still thinking, I was still a huge space nerd. I love all the movies and shows, Star Trek, Star Wars, and also real NASA movies and shows. I thought they were real. And then my silent wife comes up to me and says, "Did you know that the tongue or the NASA logo has a serpent's tongue in it?" And at that point, I was like, "Oh, you've gone too far." No, it does. And then, then she showed me, and it does. And of course, if you look into it, apparently NASA means deception. But that's the thing; they have to tell you, and then we have to make the conscious decision to ignore it, because that's how free will works. You have to give up for free will, or they can't do these things to you. That's why they allow these certain information to come out so you can see it. The fact that they taunt us, they really had to name the Pope's binocular, or what do you call it? Telescope. That's my visual for telescope. They had to name it Lucifer for reals. Now, of course, we talked about it on a lot of the channels, and they've changed it to something else. I don't know, Lucy or something. Lucy got some explaining to do. Never said no, but they changed it. But it's still that's just the name. It's called Lucifer. Whatever. Vatican has a pope, has a that's a whole other story. So yeah. So the ISS is flying around, and God's got no problem with that, but he totally destroyed the Tower of Babel. Yeah, okay, sure. And again, who took this photo? This is a satellite in space, an image, supposedly. This is what they tell us these look like. Go look at them with a telescope yourself. I've seen fuzzy images that look similar, but I'm not seeing to the event that they're showing you. And I also think it's funny that when I was a kid, you couldn't tell the difference between these two. They used to call it Uranus, then they tried to make it sound less, sexual. They call it Uranus. Sounds like urine, doesn't matter. But these two were almost identical in color and size. Now, over a period of years, this one's turned purple. I think Mars has, it's on the bottom, but has like a little storm hat or something on one of these, or maybe that's Jupiter. It's a bunch of nonsense. Cartoons. And again, how do you know what's in the, yeah, so we've covered that. Yeah, here again. Look for this yourself if you haven't already. Look at this and say that men went to the moon in this and took off from the moon to get back to their spaceship in this. And that doesn't look like tinfoil and gold tape. And that doesn't look like big gaps in there where the vacuum of space could get in. Look at that one. What about that? This looks like something put together for like, remember those fairs they used to have in school? It's like one of those craft fairs that you had to build projects. I mean, look at come on, people, help me out here. Look at this. Oh, there's a tear here. Let's just put some gold tape. They'll never notice. Look at this. Science fairs, that's what they were called, right? Come on. Looks like Halloween, says Joy. Yeah, exactly. And then you got what's going on up here. Got like TV antennas or something. I don't know. And then you got tinfoil, of course. You got to have tinfoil. It helps space. I don't know what that is. I mean, come on. This is so silly. Okay. And curtain rods. Don't forget the curtain rods. And how well they're put together. Look at this. It looks like I could break it with my fingers. And yet that's supposed to go lift off the planet and stuff. The planet. Yeah. All cartoons. Cartoons. All right, so we have two of those. Oh, here's somebody. He's from here's a group that I used to hang out with. Not anymore, but listen to what he says.
Okay. A ceiling fan photoshopped into a picture of Jupiter or a satellite orbiting Jupiter.
Right? So even he knows they're ceiling fans. Right? But here's this. I find this one is, to me, what I feel is the most accurate. If that's even possible, because God talks about it, there's waters above and waters below. And what I believe the dome is, if you want to have your ball, it has to go all the way around to keep the water out from below, I guess, unless he has a way of controlling it to this level. But you've got a dome over here. And what I think, when you look up at the sky and you see the Milky Way, they tell us, what if that's just a scar from God opens the sky to allow the waters to come in from above and below? And what he did is he would fill this dome up with water all the way up during the flood, because no flesh survived. And then eventually drains it out to this level. And now this is our living space. So when I say the earth is flat, I mean the basic living space we live on is flat. It is, some people call hollow, but there is a depth to our earth, provably so. There's ancient civilizations we're finding and so forth here. And so beyond 8 miles, supposedly, this is where you would find shale, where a lot of stuff goes on down here. And then the foundations have to be connected somewhere. And so to me, that's, for now, this is my representation in my head is where I think the best that our little brains can figure out where we live. So that means that the moon and the sun and the stars, just like are spoken about, are within the firmament. And that would make sense, because this is the same size as that and the same distance. And they're not, this one 239,000 miles away and this one millions of miles away. And just so happened to coincidentally, because it's so much farther and so much bigger, it lines up perfectly in size. That's such nonsense. They're exactly as you see. They look close because they are close. Maybe the moon's only 33 miles away. I mean, that's a good number. 66 is another one. I don't know. But it's definitely not what they tell us. And stars aren't what they tell us either. I film stars. They dance. They change color. They change shape. They're amazing. They're beautiful. They're wonderful. They're not these like pointed things that they say. And when the NASA goes to the moon, they can't even decide whether they see stars or not. Some see stars. Some don't see stars. Some see stars all the time during the day. Some only saw them at night. Yeah. And we just covered this. Nixon called the moon on a landline, and yet, and they control the Johnny 5 on Mars, and yet I can lose. Literally, I can be talking to my mother and not move, and the signal goes away because they have better technology in 1969, I guess. This was sent to me by one of my new listeners, and yes, I have covered this, but I like this because sextants won't work on a sphere. And how are the ships for forever? When my dad owned a boat years ago when I was a kid, we all took the classes on how to map it out by the stars and stuff in case you got lost. This is before GPS and stuff. I'm that old. And they've been doing it for centuries, and yet We're flying through space. Why aren't the stars moving? Why do we see the same constellations? Why is the North Star always in the same place? Doesn't make sense on a globe's flying through space. It does on a flat plane, and the stars and Earth and the sun revolve around us, like it's talked about in the Bible. Flights from South Africa to Australia, they always stop in India, and it makes no sense on a ball to do this instead of going here. But it does make sense if you put it together like this. And so these are the things that just raise questions in my mind. And if so, hopefully people that are watching, and there are some people that maybe don't believe this yet. I was one of you. So I'm just showing you the things that helped me understand that we were lied to. There's another great view of this wonderful technology, seamless, with gold tinfoil on this side here, just perfect. And they got a satellite dish up there. Yeah, and whatever this thing is really fascinating. So, yeah. So, and they call the moon. Okay. Here we go again. Look at this one. Cost $50 million in 1972. Look at that. Come on. That cost the taxpayer in 1972 $50 million. The Apollo 16. Just beautiful. Heck, I'll do it for $1 million. Are you kidding? And it'll probably definitely look better than this, and I'll have money left over. Meanwhile, this is what the in 1964 cost $34 million. Just saying. I think this is a lot safer travel. Cartoons aren't real, but these things aren't, right? Cartoons are real, and these things aren't in WTF land. This is fake. Do you know, if I talk about this, I don't know if it'll be on this one. YouTube always puts something like, idiots that talk about this don't know what to talk about. They're contrails, or flat Earth was disproved a long time ago, except for these numbnuts. It puts things like that. Look at it. It's most all my videos. Whatever. I don't care if you mock me. I'm just telling you what I see. And I see the emperor has no clothes. And I'm not going to sit there and be an idiot and say, I still believe this is real and this is fake. Sorry. My eyes tell me that. 2 + 2 does not equal 5. I don't care how many times you hit me. 2 + 2 does not equal 5. This is an actual image of a nebula that I think the Hubble took. This is another image of a nebula. I don't think the Hubble took this one. No, this one's Starfleet Command. But you see how easy you can't tell the difference. What's the difference? Real, fake. And if you look at the video I have of Captain Kirk, he says, when they ask him, what's the difference between fantasy space and real space? And he says, there isn't any difference. It's still on my channel. I can't play it. I'll get a strike for the Star Trek thing, of course. But that's the lovely thing of YouTube. Okay, we're seeing some of the same ones. And this, they just now, I think they mothballed this because we kept discussing this and they finally stopped. But this was a telescope that they would fly around in the NASA plane. And that's where you got a lot of their, quote, Hubble shots, or at least telescope shots that they say were satellites. Someone's lying. These lines are supposed to come at us parallel because this thing is so huge, it's 93 million miles away. I think that's what they say. And yet, anyone can see this. I mean, simple geometry tells you that's wrong. That these are not parallel lines. It means it's much closer. That's all it means. I mean, you can do this, like I said, you can see this with your naked eye. And it's an object that is, like I said, I have to look it up. It's been so long, but 50 miles or so or less across. And this object is supposed to be 239,000 miles away. That'd be like wherever you're standing, you can see like multiple states away. It makes no sense. And they'll explain it away through science and math and say, well, the atmosphere makes it so it comes in closer to your eye and all. They'll try to explain it away rather than just say that they're lying. And yet this is the view we get from a spacecraft. Does that make sense? Of course not. That's the thing about the liars. They can't keep their own lies straight. So, and I remember when they were doing this, I was big into space back then. I even went to one of these landings. And they had these heat tiles that they always made us worry about. And they had a problem with them. And the guy up in space, they put duct tape on it. They said they did. And they survived. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. Duct tape's amazing, because I didn't know. Like when they had a hole and the guy stuck his finger in there and said that he sealed it or whatever. I don't know. Or how about this one? This one was a hole. This was that liar Chris Hadfield, which I remember as Chris Hadfield, but whatever. When your spaceship suddenly starts leaking air and you fix the hole with duct tape and a gob of epoxy. Nice save. And that was the picture he had. But people called him out on it because, well, people that were listening, is because this was posted in August of 18, when this happened. And yet here's an album by this group called Commodity, and it's the identical photo. And this was 4 years earlier. So these are the things that made me realize we're being lied to. Yeah, Juan, sure, okay. But yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that makes me know that we're being lied to. They tell you straight up. Airtight. Estimated cost, $400 million. Actual cost so far at this time, I think that was several years ago even, $12 billion plus, 30 years of operation, no pictures of the Earth. Fascinating. Went to the moon in 1969, can't go to the moon in 2020. So, and this is another thing you can look into this. The area of the Bermuda Triangle, which just coincidentally is right at the area of Florida where they're shooting off their rockets. And when you see a rocket go off, you can see it go up in the air and then it arcs. And they say, well, now it is going over the curve of the Earth. Or it's exactly what you see. It's going up in the air and it's crashing down into the ocean where you can't see it, which they call the Bermuda Triangle, which makes you so people don't want to go there. But if you look hard enough, you can still find a video. They allowed some students to go in this area and film, and they found tons of rockets at the bottom of the ocean here. But again, they allow that information out. So if you look hard enough, you find it, and then you know you're being lied to. But most people don't look that far. They like the cool stories of the Bermuda Triangle, and they just stop there. And this is also what Tinkerbell used to do over the beginning of the Walt Disney show, and she doesn't do that anymore. So that's interesting. Disney makes sure they tell you also. Because, they're all the same. Disney and NASA, they're all the ex-Nazis. Sundials, not earth dials, because the sun moves, not the earth. And there's a passage in the Bible where, I'm trying to remember who it was, but he asked God, because they had a battle going on and they're winning, and he asked God if he could make the day a little bit longer so they could, finish. And what does God do? He stops the sun. He doesn't stop the earth from turning. So there's so much proof throughout the Bible that if you do believe in the Bible, there's no way you should be on a ball at this point. There's no way. The foundations of the earth right there should tell you. Unless you think God's lying to you, which, no, that's not bueno. Time when construction paper went to the moon and back. And, your sun and moon halos, which when I was growing up, we didn't have these. Now, of course, with all the new clouds, now we have these. But if that, again, it looks like it's reflecting a dome. And they're the same size. And the sun and moon domes are the same size. Occam's razor, people. What does math and science tell us? That's what it tells us. Thank you. And how is it the stars are always in the same place? Because we're flying through space on a spinning ball. I've played that enough. Not tonight. They don't tell us what altitude everything turns into cartoons. You don't feel the spinning that they talk about, and the rotation is fast enough to hold the oceans down, but dew on a grass stays, and butterflies can fly. And I mean, the Australian people are upside down right now watching this. And if you look at when they come back from the moon, when they're ready to go, they're excited as anyone would be. When they come back, this what do you call it, debriefing on air, it's ridiculous. These people look like some of the most depressed people I've ever seen, and drink themselves to death. And there's a point when they ask if they saw stars, and this guy says he didn't see any, and he gives them an elbow because he's answering incorrectly. And so it's pretty fascinating stuff when you start delving into the moon stuff. Let's see, we covered that.
Perfectly normal sunny day.
We never had those as I was growing up as a kid. So, all right. Oh, and if you want to know how they send up satellites, it's like this. They even tell you and show you. Where is it? See? They're on balloons. And they release them all the time on these helium balloons. They release them. They just did some more. All the different companies use them. And every once in a while they come crashing down. Like this one. Satellites in space don't exist. They're only cartoons. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help people see the things that I saw when I was waking up. And the fact that this is still attached to the balloon. So, Neil Armstrong stated Apollo 11's computer system had 32 kilobyte storage, 2K memory, and 1 megahertz CPU. So basically, it'd be like streaming a live video from this organizer and sending the feed 239 miles away. You guys seeing the lie that we were fed? And the people that saw it on TV, did you know when they broadcast that, wherever the original broadcast came from, it was broadcast up onto a movie screen projector, and then the news crews were in the studio filming that. And so even though they had color technology apparently back then, you get that real grainy, horrible looking video because it's so degenerated from so many, like the first version to the second to the screen to the third to the TV, that you had all these lines and horrible to make it look more realistic. Okay, I think that's everything in that one. But I've got so much more of that that we can do like entire shows on that, and people do. But here, I don't know. Let me grab this one real quick. I didn't do this. Let me show you this. And again, maybe you've heard all this and this is a rehash, but for some people it's new, and maybe you haven't seen these memes, go ahead and grab them. That's what I do from live streams and stuff. And so, yeah, they can't keep their story straight. They don't even know what it looks like. Look at, and this is in my my ending, my outro. Which, please stay. If you don't stay for the outro normally, I've changed a little bit, updated it, and it's different. I mean, a lot of it looks similar in the beginning, but then changes at the end. So, and it's a fun time to hang out with people and continue chatting and so forth. So I highly recommend you look into the ending of this episode. Okay. Because these photos are actually all in it, I believe. And again, you can take this and look at it yourselves, but if you take this blue marble, you turn it upside down, it says sex in the clouds. That's not Photoshop. That's the way they put it in their fake photo of the Earth. And this is a famous quote. He's the guy that made the blue marble. And you can still hear him say this on air. It's Photoshop, but it has to be. They tell you. This guy's he's so famous for this photo. It's ridiculous. And you can see where they duplicate clouds and so forth. Again, these are my outro. But this is what they tell you. The ball Earth that they say you live on has a lot of scarcity, limited energy, global stuff going on, aliens, evolution, Big Bang, theft, taxes, politics. Meanwhile, if you're living on God's green Earth and you don't think that you live here, you'll find that it has abundant resources, clinical energy, cyclical, energy, none of this other stuff. Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. 172. God bless you all. Hit the like, share, and subscribe if you're enjoying this. This is a good number. And I've been talking to one of our sons that's just now waking up to the numbers things because of the football game really got him. And look for these things about this number specifically, because that's the number that they'll put in news stories to let you know that you're being lied to about something. And so that's a really popular number to be used. We can go over that in a minute. But yeah, this is the atheist delusion that this has a creator and this is an accident. And I ain't buying it. There's no way this is an evolutionary accident. None of that makes sense. Okay. And that was a show I did. Okay. And how black holes are created. It's like that. And this is in my outro. This is the official NASA photo of Pluto, the planet, which was discovered the same year that they invented the dog at Disney. And he's right there, just to mock you. This is a photo I took of the Earth, of the moon. And again, look at how you can. This is with just a stupid little camera. Nothing special. Look at the detail on this. And they don't describe to you how all of these moon craters are perfect, symmetrical holes. Like they were impacted straight down. And there's no skidding ones or whatever. So if these were all impacts onto the moon, how do they explain the ones that had to go past the Earth to hit the moon that we look at? Just saying. I'm sure they have a reason. Science and math, and shut up. But yeah, and so here I took one and look at the color of the moon is changed to the color of the background. I took all these. I'm not going to go through all of these. It's like when you go to someone's house and they bring out the show and tell. This is where we went for this vacation. Everyone sit down and we get some popcorn out. No. But you can see we're being lied to. That I can take pictures with this. Oh, look at these. These are great. If I don't say so myself. I just did. Look at this. So, just saying, this thing is way closer than they tell us, that I can get these pictures. And you don't even need, like I said, a special camera or binoculars. You can do this with your naked eye. Yeah, so, okay. I think that covers. Let's see. I think we're done with that. Let me double check. Did I get everything on that one that I wanted to show you? Oh, no, there's a few more. Let's go back into it. Let's finish up that folder so I don't have to. You guys can show this to whoever is still questioning the moon landing, and maybe they'll see something that will make them question it too. Like, for instance, here we go. Whoops. There we go. And here we are. Let's see. Where is she? Is she over here? And here we are.
And so here we are.
Okay. Where'd it go? Look at this. No blast crater. And if you see how this is supposed to hit the moon, it's supposed to be blowing all kinds of stuff around. No dust in these whatsoever. Some of the gold tinfoil came off of that side, I guess. And then you really can't see it here. But the boots that you see from this NASA astronaut don't match up to the footprints that they show you on the moon. That's an interesting one. And what else? Well, again, you all can go through these. Just put in moon lander, whatever, in HD, and you'll just find too many. And tell me something. This is like the view from inside the space station. There's no electrician on Earth that would build something like this. This makes no sense to have all these things sticking out. It's just to make it look fancy. Oops. Just to make it look fancy. Well, never mind. And this was the Bumgouter or whatever, the Red Bull jump. And I mean, come on, I've shown this on it. The Earth looks flat horizon inside, but when he's outside with the fisheye lens, there's this huge curve, and like I think it's New Mexico takes up the entire screen. But yeah, there's nothing going on there. And let this sink in. NASA's lost 14,000 reels of science data from the fake moon landing. Accidentally. They can't find them. It's gone. It's all gone. It is vanished, and nobody knows what happened to it.
Bullshit!
Yeah, exactly. So, let's see. Here we go. Over here. I don't know why that's in there. There we go. Yeah, no electrician in the... Yeah, don't get me started on that again. And this one. This is another thing they did to traumatize us when I was growing up. I think, what was this, 86? And they sent a teacher up in space. Oh, yeah, it says right there. And they told us they all died. And yet you can still find this video online. They supposedly said this guy has a twin brother. So it's not him. They say that this gal is someone different because this gal was named, I think it was Sharon Christine McCullough. And she went by Christine, which is her middle name. But this gal goes by Sharon McCullough. And this guy, which looks completely identical to that guy, he didn't even change his name. This is still the same guy. And he didn't even bother changing his name. In fact, I've seen a video where they go and confront this guy, and he gets all in their face and, says, yeah, it's all BS. Oh, wait, this guy, Scurvy with the wonky eye. That's the guy I think they end up talking to. And, yeah, and he still uses his same name. And this guy has a twin. So there's another guy that has a twin on the shuttle flight. It's not the same guy. It's a twin. And where is the other one? Here she is. Get back here. Judy Resnick, I think is her name. She's at Harvard, or she's a law professor or something like that. And she didn't bother to change her name either. Because nobody's watching. Nobody cares. I can put this up and no one looks at it. Or if they do, they go, this guy's crazy. They have to believe. So if you don't believe what I'm saying, you have to believe that this lady is a different lady with the exact same face and name, that this guy is a twin, and this guy also had a twin, and this guy is a different guy, same name and face, and this guy is the same guy, same name and face, and this gal is a different gal, same face and name. You have to believe that. Okay, I don't. The emperor has no clothes, and that's stupid. You guys did this to scare us and freak us out and got more money. Because you know what? People were getting bored. They were taking that shuttle up on every day. It was like flying from like LA to Vegas kind of thing. It was like we were bored with it. Nobody tuned into it. So they had to make space exciting to get more money. Because after this, man, everyone was like, we need to fund them more so we don't have this happen ever again. It was a traumatic event, and it was completely staged, in my opinion. And in my opinion, they're gone. Where'd they go? Here.
True. Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There are no experts.
I've lost control of the show. I didn't mean to hit the one truth button. I meant to hit this one. Okay. Where are we at? Let's go back here. You guys and gals and couches enjoying this? I hope so. So, oh, hey, Mr. C, hit that like button, please.
That's pretty cool. I just saw that right as I played. Where'd it go? Now it's gone. Right when I played this guy. This is Mr. C. They called him. Nice synchronicities. So let's see. And you did? Thank you. Okay, you smashed it. Okay. All right. Let's see. Where are we at here? Okay, next. This is a famous photo. Stanley Kubrick. Here he is with the NASA officials right before they did the moon landing, and he did his movie called 2001, so they already perfected making people look like they were in space. Just a coincidence. Oops. And then we go out of here. Where'd it go? Let's see. Is that the same thing? Yeah, George. Okay. Yeah. So what do we got here? Arthur C. Clarke, George Mueller of NASA on the far right. This is interesting. That's the Red Bull thing we've shown you. This you can still find online. A weather balloon went up, and without a fisheye lens, this is what you see. You can still find these online. Let's see. Yeah. And this they created as their prototype so they could like decide whether they were going to go on the moon. But I still think they used it for all kinds of like photos and vids and stuff. And you know, like what are we doing here? You know, what's going on? Sorry, I'm losing control of the show. Green screen it just like I have the satellite flying behind me. Same idea. All right, moving on to this one. Here it is. See the feet versus the footprint. So that's interesting. Now, of course, they say, oh, no, it was a different suit. This isn't the same boot. No, whatever. That's not. When I saw the with Smithsonian, and it was called the Smithsonian Institute, now it's the institution, Mandela effect, I saw this thing like they show here. So it's not another, and it says this is supposed to be the one. Why don't the footprints match the foot? And we've covered this on other shows. They have underwater. Come on. Focus. They have underwater cables throughout all of the plane. And why would they do that if they have satellites? And how come if you have, say, a satellite radio, the higher you go up, like if you're camping, all service goes away. The higher up you go or the farther away you get from cities. If there were satellites, I would think you'd have a clearer shot of the satellite. But no, all that goes away when you leave the cell towers and all this other stuff they got going on, because they're fake. They're not in space. And this is not parallel lines coming from a sun 93 million miles away. It's impossible. Science and math tells you it's impossible to get this look from a parallel from 93 million miles away. And here's another one, this Auguste Piccard. He was allowed to tell us this. Way back in 1931, he went up in this thing, and what did he see? He said it seemed like a flat disk with an upturned edge. NASA's budget for 2016, so I'm sure it's similar or higher now. You can find pictures of Mars that match up with Greenland. And in fact, you can find some photos of the Mars lander and some NASA trucks on Greenland when you go into that area. Just saying. And we've talked about this. Think about it. If you're stationary and the stars and everything are moving around you, above you, in a circular pattern, this makes sense why stars do this. If we're flying through space and spinning and all this, you wouldn't get this, and you wouldn't get the North Star just staying right there. You wouldn't. It doesn't matter how high you go, the horizon always goes to your eye level, and it's perfectly flat. Okay, we covered that and that. What else? I think that's it. Well, there we go. That's good.
We'll end with that. It's our lovely governor out here. Okay. All right. I think I covered everything I wanted to in that folder now. I think that's it. Yes. So we'll close that folder so I won't look at that one again. Okay. All right. So how about this? We're 2 hours into the show. We still got 174 people here. I will show you some food I made and Sarah, and then we'll keep talking. All right. Does that sound good? Okay.
The ceiling fans are very attractive.
So I'm listening to my favorite pastor, Vlad, explaining relationships with God.
Because Lucy's got some splaining to do.
As I make a very Hungarian, it's my old family recipe. It's a meatball recipe.
Meat. Ready? Balls.
That also has sauerkraut in it. And it's just beautiful, wonderful, delicious. So I'll show you some of the process, but it's very messy, so I can't do too much with my phone. But making the meatballs, and we'll get to the next stage.
Balls.
All right, so you have to pre-cook the meatballs.
Balls.
So as soon as they're done, I'm going to add some onion to the pan that's still hot, and we'll heat that up, and then all of that will go into the pot with the mix. All right, now we got the onions cooking. Shouldn't be just a minute or so.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
And here's the pot with the mix. It's got, I can't tell you the exact recipe. It's not allowed. You have to, I guess, marry into the family. But just know that there's sauerkraut and some white raisins in there. And, and a bunch of love.
Aww.
You know what? I just felt it was only fair. I'll just tell you what's in here. So basically, the core of the recipe is and that's pretty much it. So now we've got that going. We got the onions in there. We're going to put in the meatballs.
Balls.
And then we'll get it all cooking. Good looking. All right, so that's looking really good. The steam is coming off of the potatoes because you've got to have mashed potatoes with this dinner. But why waste good steam? Get a facial. All right, so there we go. The potatoes are done. The meal is done. Time to eat.
A few days later.
So we're having a Bible study, and we're making homemade pizzas. Because that's what you do. Eat pizza. There she is.
It's time for Ceiling Fan Man and Sarah, and kisses and tacos.
Here, remember? We had tacos.
I'm a Black Panther now. What does a Black Panther do on a time off? He lays in boxes. Boxes in boxes. You want to fight, hey?
Satellite tracking continues.
There you go. Hope you like that. Okay, so I have a couple things. One is I want to thank, and if I got some people saying they don't want me to thank when they donate, so I'm trying not to. But to people that are, thank you. And over in Rockfin, I just got a donation from Lori, and so thank you, Lori. I do appreciate it, and everybody that's over on Rockfin, hi, and I'm glad you're enjoying it over there. So, okay, now let's see where are we going next. And I see a lot of people are getting ads. I'm going to have to look into this. What's that? I know, but I thought I fixed it, but apparently I didn't. And some people are getting more ads. So I don't know. I'll try to work on it. This channel is monetized. It's one of the ways that I can make a little bit of money. YouTube does ink out some money for me, but I want to make the watching experience, enjoyable. I understand on a 3-hour live, like I do usually, you're going to get more than one ad here and there. But if it's happening every 5 minutes, that's excessive, and I would be irritated. And so I promise, as soon as I'm off tonight, I'll try to figure out what button it is, or if you guys know in the chat, let me know or send me an email, because I'm having trouble trying to figure out how to have a nice mix to where I can make some money off of the show and not make it an unenjoyable experience. So I will try on this. So, okay. Thank you, Patty. Yeah, I love Sarah too. Yeah. Kung Fu Cat. Yeah. And that one is listed as, I think it said Sarah 54, which I've done these food videos for all these years, but that means I've done at least 54 episodes with Sarah in it. So yeah, so we fought quite a bit. She's excellent at karate. She usually ends up winning. So okay, let's see. Oh, thank you, Mac. And no ads for Mac. Okay, well, it's a mixed bag, I guess. So, but I'm gonna try. I'll see what I can do. It's sad. YouTube really messes with everyone and the content creators too. Like, I'm trying to figure ways to work around within their algorithms and the things I can say and can't say. There's things I can play and I can't play, that kind of stuff. So, but thank you, Brenda. So. And yeah, I guess you can go premium too. That is an option. So, okay, where are we at here? Let's see. Okay, are we anything else? I think we got everything. Oh, thanks. See, now the Christian Soldier doesn't hardly ever see that, so I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry for getting ads. Yeah. Anyways, enough with the ad talk. All right, what do we got here? Let's see. Let's see. We covered the birds. That one. Oh, here's something that I was asked to talk about. I actually knew nothing about this subject, and a couple different people commented on it, so I did want to just mention it. I'll tell you what I've read up on it. There's apparently a video game called Cult of the Lamb, and I don't know if it just came out or if but it's something. Yeah, I guess 2022. And basically, the premise is you're the lamb, which is obviously a Christ reference, and they kill you, and you're brought back to life, and by the shadow person or something, I forget. It said. Yeah, the land of false prophets, the lamb nicknamed Lambert, blah, blah, blah. Oh, here. The lamb is brought before the one who waits. That's basically Satan, a strange deity imprisoned in chains. Yeah, go figure. And so they give the lamb a demonic crown and resurrect it, and it serves the lamb. The lamb serves they're making Jesus' character sound like he serves Satan. And so that's basically what it is. But the thing is if you're a kid and you're playing this game, it's just a fun game. And if people like me say, they're normalizing you to discredit God and worship Satan.
And you go, oh, you old man, you don't know what you're talking about. You just, calm down over there. And that's what they do. And so it's unfortunate because, like even my demographics, according to YouTube, the younger audience really doesn't listen to me. And that's who all this is designed for. Because no matter who's watching right now, if your demographic, if let's say you're, I don't know, 30 and over, they're not working for you. The fight that's going on right now to enslave us, however they want to do it, through New World Order, World Economic Forum, wherever, pick your favorite villain. It's for the next generations coming up. It's for the generations that have always seen things this way. It's for the ones that grew up knowing that people would put masks on. It's for the ones growing up that think that they have no immune system and everything needs to be solved by pharmacia. It's that generation, and they just normalize everything. The fact that if you don't like the way you feel, start doing medical changes and stuff. And they're normalizing this for those generations of children, like your children or your grandchildren. That's where that's what this is heading towards. And so no amount of programs I can do and discuss how, there's obviously connotations to this, they're not going to listen. But maybe one day they do listen, because that's how you end up with, where is it? I think it's on these photos. This is about the rain modification, the weather modifications that they do. Am I showing you this? Yeah. You can say that they're getting better at predicting it, or you can say that they are predicting what they're setting up. Because the fact that my phone can tell me that rain's going to stop in 31 minutes and start 16 minutes later, and it did exactly that. Or when we had the snow, they said it was going to start snowing at 11 p.m. that night, and right on the dot, it started snowing. But, I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist, I guess. Oh, and I saw that Big Mike Michelle might be running for president. So this is my Jen photo if she's watching. Here, this is what I was looking for. One of my sons just started to see the numbers and realizing that, it's all fake. The fact that this guy, he won by throwing 333 and 66 yards. I mean, it's there. It's the numbers. And this superb Owl game was full of the numbers. The fact that the final play, the guy that's number 33 just happens to run across the field into the camera shot. So he's the one sending me these things. He's starting to see this now. So that's a beautiful thing when people can start seeing it. So just look for those numbers, the tags. Yeah, I thought this was good. We defeated the Nazis, yet Werner von Braun, which his name's changed, but is the head of NASA. Walter Hallstein became the head of the EU. Adolf Holsinger is NATO's chief of staff. And Kurt Waldheim, Secretary General of the United Nations. Look these up, and you'll see. And some of them went into Disney, too. And come on. Nobody saw that this was a potentially anti-Semitic mural. I just had to throw this in there. Come on, people. Stop the madness. Here we go. See how this was 2013 when I covered this. I've covered this story, and this one's from 2013. And they tell you that I covered one where Bill Gates said he was going to start doing it, and Harvard was going to work on doing it. And it's just constant. We did one, was it last week, where I think it was in Dubai. They admit they do it. It's just, they admitted it, and I think it was in the Vietnam War that they would do fog warfare and stuff. So what's the weather like? Just look at the TV and it'll tell you. All right. Is that everything in this one?
We have Auburn programs to believe that.
Oh, we already heard from that guy. Is that it? Somebody sent me this. Just be careful. Now there's potentially a horse virus in addition to all the other ones. And this one has no shot yet. So, and this is one of the things I talk about. This matches up identical to the face and look of the a famous painting of Lucifer. And in the Bible, it talks about in the short season that the devil is let loose for a short season or little season from its chains. And I believe this is a representation of that. And this is actually a representation of Satan when he took control of the little season. Most likely it happened July 4th, and we all celebrated with him because we're deceived and they like to mock us. So, and this is a map from my Australian friends. I just thought it'd be nice for them to, for us in non-Australian people to see what they have to go through when they look at a map, because this is the way it actually is for them. And I think that's it, right? Oh, I wanted to show this. So this was from 2021, right when I had started my my show. And look at, I have 234 subscribers. Really? Yeah, isn't that cool? Yeah, because now we're at Illuminati confirmed 3,300. So thank you all. And for everyone that's still here, thank you for coming and listening. So here's an interesting thing. A lot of, whatever you call them, truth channels and stuff are really pushing Putin. And who's the other hero they want? Tucker Carlson, as like people are going to be, their saviors and stuff, whatever. But he's talking about this new subject. Now, when the last, 4 years that we went through with the masks and the shot and all that stuff, and there's a lot of things we couldn't talk about, still things I feel sometimes you can't because they can zap you. This is the new one. This subject, if you talk about it and you talk about any alternate ways of curing this, they'll take you down now. So keep an eye out for this, because I believe this is potentially the next big shot. Just saying. It's a little sus. And if you ever need a laugh, just remember that they actually audition people for The Walking Dead. You imagine? These guys all have to sit at a table and pretend like, oh yeah, I think number one had a great, I love the way he went and said, yeah, okay, mark that one down. And that guy that crawled on the floor, that was really good. We got to get him. Come on, seriously. Okay, what's next? Okay, so we talked about it before about how I believe the earth is a dome, the water's above, water's below. And so I thought this was an interesting presentation on how that could have possibly happened. And so with this pressurized system, he shows you it represents a firmament. And then, of course, when they unplug this, the windows of the heavens open, right? And it fills in and you get the flood, and everything got covered and killed except the people who were on the boat. And then eventually they close that pressurized system, and slowly the water recedes to the living space that we live on. Now that makes sense to me. I like this idea, and for now, that's where I'll hang my hat on it. Okay. Let's see. Let's get out of that one. And if wrestling is fake, explain this. See? I saw it on TV. It has to be real. That guy can't get up. Just saying. This is how deceived we are. Seriously. I mean, most of it, hopefully, this is fake, but. And I covered last week that Taylor Swift, I'm not making this up. You can find the video. I covered it last week that the CIA floated the idea of making Taylor Swift a psyop so that way they can get people to vote, swing election, whatever they said. But they said, here's a name. This was, I think, with the videos from like 5-6 years ago. Here's a name you might not have ever heard of, Taylor Swift. And they threw that out there. And then this just shows up.
Good morning. Taylor Swift is not a PSYOP.
Taylor Swift is not a PSYOP.
Taylor Swift is not a PSYOP. Taylor Swift is not a PSYOP. Taylor Swift is not a PSYOP.
I heard it on TV.
Taylor Swift is not a PSYOP.
Taylor Swift is not a PSYOP. Taylor Swift is not a PSYOP.
You got it?
Taylor Swift is
Not a PSYOP.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Right? She's not a PSYOP. Of course not. Of course not. My goodness. Wake up, people. Okay. Now, oh, wait. We got something here. I got to wait. Let me pause this. How do you do that? Clickety click. We'll go over here. What did I see? My goodness. All kinds of... There's a craziness going on here. Let's see. Okay. We'll start with... Okay, we saw that one. Thank you, Jamie. And then this one came through. Trisha Clark. She's the gal that we said the prayers for her speedy recovery from all her things she's going through. And so thank you. And God bless you. And we'll be thinking of you. And Pants, he gifted some wonderful people some memberships. And thank you. Get a belt. And then Ania, yeah, okay. I said that one. Thank you very much. And then she did this one, hugs and prayers to all in chat. So thank you so much. I didn't want to miss any of those. Okay. Now, let's go back where we were. Let's see. Now let's see where we're going. Horrible sinus issues. I don't know. I mean, what I'm finding is there are like things going around where people are having the same thing. Some people are having ear ringing all in the same week, and other people. So potentially you're going to find other people that are having that same thing. So don't know, but yes, maybe. Yes. Listening and let's see. Where are we at? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it could be that too. Absolutely. Yeah, see? Sinuses are burning. So yeah, maybe. And some people are more sensitive to this stuff than others. Yeah. So, okay. Let's see. Where are we at? Let me go back up and finish these screen share. Clickety click. Go here and here and here. Let's see. We covered that. And that. Okay. So I'm not one of those channels that predicts things or does doomsday or any of this stuff. But I found this one very interesting. Because if you were watching any of these channels over the last few years, in 2017, when this solar eclipse came across the country, they were talking about it because I think it hits, well, I think it says in the article, I think it hit like 8 different or so many cities that were named Salem, which I didn't even know there was that many. But more interesting this year is another solar eclipse now comes across and forms this X here. But as it travels, it goes across cities named Nineveh, I think is how you say it. Nineveh. And why Nineveh is important is because that's where Jonah was supposed to go talk and tell everyone to repent because God's wrath was coming. And he didn't want to go because he knew a lot of the people there and he was afraid they'd all think he was crazy. And so he ends up going a different way. Of course, you can't hide from God. And that's the boat starts getting crazy and the people are like, what's going on? And he says, you better throw me overboard because God's mad at me. And against what they wanted to do, they had to. And they toss him overboard and he gets eaten by, I remember a whale. Now it's a big fish. Mandela effect doesn't matter. But he gets swallowed up by this creature in the ocean. And some people think he even dies. But he's there for 3 days. And then finally he repents and he asks for forgiveness. And the whale, the fish creature, whatever it is now, spits him out onto dry land. And then, of course, he dusts himself off and he goes, well, I better get to Nineveh. And so he goes there. And apparently it's a 3-day walk through this city. That's how big these cities were. And he goes through Nineveh preaching that they need to repent because God's wrath is coming. And miraculously, they listen and they repent, and God's wrath stopped. And, it's a happy ending to that story. Well, I find it interesting, at least, let's say, that the eclipse passes through, and I didn't even know that there's 8 cities named Nineveh. There's one in Texas, one in Missouri, one in Indiana, one in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, New York, and Nova Scotia. And so again, I just think that's kind of fascinating that first it goes across, all the Salems, and then it goes across all the Ninevehs. So whether or not anything is going to happen on this day, I still feel this is a message, because there are no coincidences in my mind anymore. Everything is for a reason. And the fact that this one went through Salem's and now this one's going through Nineveh, I believe it's a message. We need to see what we're doing and repent, because the wrath is coming. Now, do we end up like Nineveh people and we repent and he stops? Or do we end up like Sodom and Gomorrah and ignore it? Or the flood people that ignored Noah and, the wrath comes. So I don't know. I just find this really fascinating. So, all right. What's next? Is that it? Okay. And then, for those playing along at home, if you still want to play along. So now for no reason whatsoever, they decided you don't need to isolate. So after all those years of saying that you had to, or lose your job or your whatever, they changed their mind. Whatever. This is the way this game plays. And for those of you that don't believe that that God's wrath, because there's people that don't believe that buildings or bricks and things could be melted, and yet.
So this is the eclectic history of the United States, and I just read through stuff, but this is really, really interesting. This is the Chicago fire of 1871.
And we've talked about this on this channel a bunch. You've got all these fires that happened all over the world, the plain, whatever you want to call it. And they destroyed monstrous cement brick buildings with heat that we don't understand, fervent heat. And they say in Chicago or San Francisco, was it, I think, a cow kicked a lantern. And there's one in where Steve is, Springfield, a monkey did the same thing. And I think out here in Seattle, it was a bum tossing a cigarette or something. It's just like the same fire story, but a little bit variation that burns brick.
1872. For 2 days, Chicago was burning solid masses of stone, iron, and brick, making scarcely more resistance to the fierce heat than the lightest wood buildings. Iron, stone, and brick were just burning like wood. And then again in Boston, granite and brick were laid to ashes. So any fires that are happening now that are just destroying everything, it's been happening for years.
And he's referencing what's going on now, of course, like in Maui and so forth, where buildings just like vanish, and yet trees and things seem to be okay. So, anyways, I think it's enough of that. And, the puppets, they can say whatever they want and people think it's funny.
She was 12, I was 30, but anyway.
And yeah, everyone laughs. Okay. Moving on. And then if Jen's here, I haven't seen Jen, but if she's here, she's here? Okay. I didn't see her yet, but where'd it go? How come I can't make this any larger? This is the Jen segment. Because she taught me these things. Start looking at the heads of state and the president's wives and stuff. It's a fascinating rabbit hole, one that I can't even talk about. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Just saying. And she looks a little like John Lennon. Am I right? She looked like John Lennon. That's funny. So there's your list of shims for today. Okay, moving on. The U.S. engineer has a shocking plan to improve the climate. Burn all the coal on Earth. See? I bet that's frowned upon now. But yeah, and he was a scientist. So, meanwhile, the Earth is getting greener. Is that good? No. See, you got to be afraid of everything. Scientists are actually worried because everything's getting greener. See, you can't win for losing with these people. There is no right answer. They 2 and 2 is 5 to them. You'll never fit in unless you agree to like craziness like this. There's only 2 types of people waking up right now. There's the ones just waking up to the truth of the world, like that, going, whoa. I'm talking because they play a song I can't play. And then there's the people like us who've been aware for a while and are just enjoying the show. Yeah, I mean, that's really in a cat representation what I think is happening. And this, I don't know how I never saw this. They say it's the best bowling clip in the world. And I, as a kid growing up, bowling was a sport. You could actually watch a guy drink and smoke, and it was a professional sport. It was fantastic. I never saw this.
A done deal. Mike Machuga has won his first ever title. Look at this!
Who has done that? I think it's funny, too. They also mentioned that he didn't foul because he actually does his Superman fly. And see, he's over. He doesn't hit the line. So technically, he didn't step on the line. Can't you hear the Superman music?
Has won his first ever title.
Oh, jeez. On live television, too. Yikes. That's almost as bad as the Wild World of Sports. Anybody remember the Wild World of Sports? There was the victory and then the eyes of defeat. And it was some poor schmo that was ski jumping, I think, down a mountain. And he just becomes a tumbling mess of broken bones. And he's every freaking week that guy was on there as the Agony of Defeat. That was his name. I don't even know his name. I just know him as Agony of Defeat. Oh, we got to get out of this. Let's see. I almost forgot. You got to hit this for people. There's people that still wait for this.
This week is scary space news.
I don't remember if I covered this, but just in case, there's the Booty Void, and it's a mysterious hole in our universe. But I find it interesting because, see, here's your number. It's 330 million light years across. But again, made up numbers. They made up the number light year. There's no proof of any of this other than in Star Wars. NASA launches a mission to study the Earth's invisible universe. So, and astrophysics explain why if you're right next to the Voyager probes, 15 billion miles from the sun, you could still see them. I mean, I don't even know. But there's your scary space news. And then there's this guy. He's 130 years old, and he knew NASA lies.
Perfect. Here is Bruce Hall. He's with Charles Smith. He's a 130-year-old former slave who came to this country 118 years ago. He's here for the launch of Apollo 17. Bruce Hall, come in.
Okay, so we have the backstory now. I have to pause it here and there and talk through it.
We have here among the VIPs of one very unusual man. He's at least 130 years old. His name is Charles Smith. And do you believe it really happened? You said they would never go to the moon.
No, they ain't going there. I'll tell them that. And everybody don't believe it. No, ain't nobody going to no moon. No. What they going to stop up there? What going to hold that plane up in the air? What is going to hold it up there? The moon ain't going to hold it.
Oh, they've been before?
Money, of course, I don't bring forgiveness. Just like when.
They brought back rocks last time when they made a trip to the moon. Do you believe that?
Nope, ain't nobody been there.
See, he gets it way back then. He's sounding a lot like Joe Biden, so he's kind of unintelligible. But yes, so there. He knew it. What's next? I love this guy. He's so mad he switches sides. mean, that's quick switch and loyalty right there, man. That guy's just done with his old group. He likes it better on this side of the fence, I guess. Okay. So is that it? Let's see. I think that got all those. Let me kill through these tabs. Got that one. Let's see. Got that one. Clickety click. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. I think we got them all. Sweet. Because that's us. All right. Over there. We're good. Okay. So let's see. Got through our tabs. I've got a ton more folders to go through, but maybe for another time. Maybe we can go into who's running this place. Because that's the thing. They show you. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let's see. Well, no, but this one's a good one to show you, to showcase. Let's see. Get rid of this. Let's see. We get rid of that one. Okay. Because this is the other lie that happened. They make you feel proud to be from whatever country you're from. But we get fed propaganda too. And so they take our sons and daughters and children and and loved ones, and they send them to war, fake wars, in the name of, democracy or saving us, and kill them before they kill us kind of thing. That's what they always tell us. And yet when you look at it from a different perspective, like this, am I sharing this? I think I am. Yeah. So these are all the countries that we invade and took over. And yet, we accuse other countries of being aggressive. But when you live in another part of the world, they see us as the aggressor. But growing up out here, no, we were protecting the world. I always thought that we were always protecting the world. And if you don't come to democracy, then democracy will come to you. Right? I mean, look at all these people that we freed. Right? When you start looking at it with different eyes, it's sad what they've done to us. These are all the countries that the United States has occupied or gone to war with. I believe that we've gone to war with or occupied every single country except, I think there's a handful, maybe like 5 or less. And you've never heard of those. Probably somewhere in Africa or something. But yeah, when I woke up to this, it was really shocking. It was sad when I see it. And how all we do is just change words here to make people feel that it's normal. But it's the same idea. Because you call crushing the dissent riot control doesn't make it any different. Secret police are undercover cops, authoritarians, law and order, oligarchs and entrepreneur, gulag, prison labor, invasion, intervention, war crimes, collateral damage, weapons, lethal aid. I mean, it's just the way that you change up the wording to make it palatable, because nobody looks into it otherwise. Who hates the Russian pipelines? Remember when this happened? We were announcing it. The President of the United States announced it, and another high-up person announced it, that they would destroy them because we didn't want them, whatever. And who benefits from it? We would. And who destroyed them? We have no idea. No one had any idea, right? Come on. It's right in your face. The U.S. has dropped at least 300, there's a 33, but 337,000 bombs in the past 20 years. Bombed Syria for 5 years, Yemen for 7, Somalia for 15, Iraq for 16, Pakistan for 18, Afghanistan for 21. So they just do the same thing over and over. It's all theater. There's real war. There's real people getting hurt and killed. But the reason behind it, that's the machine. That's where are they? This one. Let's go into this folder. This is a famous quote. When the human race learns to read the language of its symbolism, a great veil will fall from the eyes of men. And if you start looking for the signs, these are, as they call them, Freemason signs. Masonic lodges and stuff like in your town, they're not necessarily evil. My family is Mason. I think most people have, at some far back, at least in their grandfather's age, Masonic people that have done great works. But what happened is there's a secret society that came in. They stole all these little secret handshakes and gestures. Oh, I thought this was interesting. When you turn this photo on the side and you squint your eyes, doesn't that look like a reptile head? I thought that was funny. So, anyways. But they stole the idea behind it and they morphed it into something evil. But then what they do is they keep it within our constantly in our field of vision, but they've masked them so we don't see it anymore. And these Masons, they do these signs and symbols in front of us all the time. And if you're in the know, you'll see it. I mean, all of them. It's not just a few. It's all of them. It's everyone. There's no accident that they're doing these things. There's not a coincidence that they're making this. And when you look at this, it can represent 666s in the OK sign. You cover your eye, and you've got 1, 2, 3, and it's a demonic reference to Satan. I mean, Satanists will tell you straight up, but we just think that they're just doing it as mockery and that they really don't believe in it. But yet they do it. They do it. And they straight up tell you if they're CIA or whatever. They tell you. You just have to look for the signs. So there's steps to this. And the thing is all the people in the lower levels don't really know how satanic it is until you get to the 33rd degree. Of course, there's your numbers, 33rd. This is how you join the fraternity. This is the symbol that you do as an entered apprentice. That was commandeered into the Flat Earth group that I left because unbeknownstly, they're all telling people that they've joined the fraternity. See, I don't want to be associated with any group, community, club, or gang. No, I want to point out the signs no matter where I see them. They've been doing, look at signs and symbols way back then. And now we just do it again with emojis. It's on your dollar bill. It tells you who's running this place. Because otherwise, what is the point of having this? Why is this on your bill? And why are there 72 bricks in this? Because when you multiply it out, it's 666, of course. And then what is this? I think it's order out of chaos, New World Order. They write on these things. They tell you straight up what they're going to do. And somewhere here, I forget. I used to have done this so long ago. Somewhere here, there's a superb owl. I don't know. They hide owl as a symbol, Moloch, or as child sacrifice. I don't know. It's on here somewhere. I can't find it right now. But what else is weird on this thing? The whole thing is just... And this is a Mandela to me. They used to have stars in here. Now all these shields don't. And you can look up what the fascists are, and this, I believe, is supposed to be the olive branch, which has been Mandela effect. It's now an olive leaf, so none of that makes sense. Out of many, one. And you can make a 6-pointed star, and here's all kinds of symbolism on the back of your dollar. So, and of course, that's just contrails. That's a picture was, I think, I'm trying to remember who took that, but it's just contrails, just coincidentally. They just let you know who's in charge, just saying, and there you go, 33rd degree. So you go up the stairs and you get to the 33rd degree. And it's the same idea behind like the New Age movement, which is the old ages, and the Mormons. They all believe that they can accomplish things and become gods themselves, just like Satan did. But that's no bueno. Let's see, I think we covered that. Yeah, look, when this guy came out and the 2 pillars, of course, they happen to have the 33 on them, of course. I mean, you can keep going down this rabbit hole, but you'll see, like even when they did the whole take a knee, it's a Freemason ritual. There's more celebrities just accidentally all doing the exact same sign. Let's see, we covered that. Here's Merkel doing it 1,000 times. Here's Trump, because they all are together. It's not one side or the other. They all work together. Here you've got the sign, you've got the one eye because they like doing the one eye, and then you've got the devil horn. Just saying. George Washington, it says there, he was a Freemason and then the first president. And this statue I saw in person, and I didn't understand at the time. Now I get it. He's totally doing the as above, so below, just like the Baphomet does. And I covered this back in the day with Jen and Steve a long time ago, because not only did this guy not look like Washington, he looks like some satanic demon creature. But when you get farther down here, none of this makes sense. This foot does not make sense. If this is his foot and that's his ankle, then what is bending right here? You know what I mean? It's like they straight up tell you he's not human. Just saying. It's just kind of creepy. But yeah, that's the Baphomet position. And then there's this, the hero, the savior that everyone was waiting for. He holds his Bible upside down in the Baphomet as above, so below position. I mean, they tell you straight to your face. You just choose not to see it. Like we never saw Tom Hanks doing it in Forrest Gump, doing the Baphomet pose. When he did that famous thing where he came up with the peace sign. But we didn't notice that he did this. They do it on purpose. They're talking to each other, and it just so happens that we happen to notice it. If you're looking for it. If you're not looking for it, you won't see these things, or if you don't know anything about them. But that's why I'm trying to open your eyes to show you that they use these symbols all the time, constantly. These are all satanic symbols, provably so. Here's the Star of Remphan, which they tell us is the Star of David. But it's not. It's the Star of Remphan, one of the gods of child sacrifice, written about in the Bible that during the end times, there will be people that say they're certain people, and they're not, and they pray, and they have the Star of Remphan as their symbol, which they call the Star of David, but it's not. It's the Star of Remphan. God tells us in the Bible this is going to happen, and here it is. Here it is. He said it's going to happen, and it's happening. You still believe it's not happening? This parade goes out, or this one, the Queen, and they had the Baphomet goat. I mean, why did they have a goat walking there? They're just trying to tell you. See the as above, so below position that Washington was doing. This is his what do you call it? Apartment or whatever. And he's got this on his ceiling. Right? 30, yeah. He's got this painted on there. Just saying. Politics for beginners. The left and the left and the right wing. And it's on the same thing. They have more in common with each other than they'll ever have with you. They don't even know how to shop at a grocery store. The Pope's got it on his. Why does he have it? Because all religions have been cannibalized, and they're all satanic at this point. In any of the organized religions, at the high levels, it's all been cannibalized by this. It's all to confuse you. God doesn't say form a religion. God says learn the teachings as Jesus and do like that. It's a spirituality. It's not a religion. And if you're blue and you don't know where to go, you should go where fashion sits. And that's Putin on a wrist. I laugh at my own jokes. Homeless is not the problem. They're the result of the problem. So, you want me to keep going on this? I will. But here's the illusion of choice. There is no choice. They're all owned by the same companies. And you can find the Freemason stuff all the way back to the people that we're learning from, the Copernicus that taught us we live on the ball and all that stuff. They're all Freemasons, and they proudly tell you, oh, don't even go with that. We'll go over that another time. And these triangles, How about this one? Oreo cookie, which has the Cross of Lorraine. And if you don't know what the Cross of Lorraine is, it was by the Knights Templars. You should look it up. But isn't it interesting that no one ever questioned why they have the Cross of Lorraine on an Oreo cookie? I used to drink. I used to drink beer at the shows way back when. And I would make a joke saying, I'm going to have an Oreo, wink, wink. And I would have a beer. But then people were thinking that I was eating Oreos with beer, which is really gross. But yeah, they have the Cross of Lorraine on the Oreos. And so just interesting. Interesting. But we never look at it. We never question it. And I don't eat those anymore, but they are good. Okay, I think that's, we'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. And that was William Casey, the CIA director, in 1981. So, and I think we're pretty close to that. Let me see if there's any more pictures there that I wanted to show you, because there's just thousands in that, and we can't cover them all tonight. Let's see. How about this one? Is it this one? Okay, yeah, we'll do that. I'll go here, clickety click here and here and here. Okay. See who gives the media the marching orders. Just like I said, BlackRock, Vanguard. Look at this. All these are under the same companies. And these are the people that want to bring you the new reset. So, will it happen? I don't know. But at least if you're awake, you'll know what they're trying to do to you. Because you can see that this goes back forever. Look at this. Square and compass. They're all telling you. Oops. Then there's that one. What happened? There we go. Aristotle. They're all part of it. What is George Carlin's line? It's a big club and you ain't in it. They let you know. They tell you, just so you know. If you want to look, it's there. It's in front of you. But you don't have to look. Just like this one. They got all these cards that came out. Nobody knows who came up with them. And they all keep coming true. And so this guy was put out on the screen to tell us that, frogs are changing sexes and stuff. And that event was it Pennsylvania or whatever was fake. But he's just, he's to gaslight people to make anybody talking about things look crazy. And then they come out they had a card that came out. Yeah, whatever. How about this? Does that look familiar? I mean, when you see it, it's right in your face and you don't realize it. Wow, I've been staring at a square and compass like the Freemason symbol that entire time. Now you can't unsee it. And then you can look at the numbers here, and there's 33s and 66s all throughout the whatever geometry of how this is put together. It's quite fascinating when you start breaking it down. Yeah, 33 ounces, 33 inches, 214 feet, 108 stitches. Yeah. It's pretty wild when you start looking into it. Smashing Pumpkins tells you. They're all just actors. And they all have IMDb pages to prove it. The guy from Ukraine that we gave billions of dollars to, he looks ridiculous on some of his stuff. Here's Mitch McConnell. This is one. I don't know if he was, he's freezing a lot lately. I don't know what the hell that's all about, but you got one going on here. You got to go over here. Those are all Freemason signs. We covered the Challenger disaster. These are all man-made religions. Don't believe in any of it. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudimentaries of the world, and not after Christ. All these people took the word of God and morphed it for their own benefits. Some of them probably paid ops to screw with people, so they didn't get their connection to God. But dump all this. Get your own connection. Pick up a Bible, read through it, talk to God yourself, ask him. He'll show himself to you. That's what happened to me. And I didn't read any of these idiots. Here's another superb owl moment. This is from a few years ago. Yeah, look at this. This is the queen and, I don't know, one of her handlers. Look what's on her belt. The Pentagon star and the Freemason. Just saying. Why is that on her? Right? Because it's everywhere. It's all over the plane. It's all over the plane. They tell you straight up. They do the hand signs, and most of the world's not noticing. But it's everywhere. And if you look for it, you can't miss it. You start seeing it in everything. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, I thought this was good. Somebody matched up these pictures perfectly. Oh, and do you know who this is? I know it looks like some creature from like some horror film. But that dude's name is Fred. His middle name is Christ. And his last name is Trump. That is Donald Trump's father. I don't know what's going on here, but it does not look human. I'm just saying. And in addition to that, this hero looks the same. So I don't know what's going on here, but no bueno is what I say. Okay. All right. Let's see. Is that everything? I think that's a lot tonight. That's 3 hours of quality entertainment, I think. And do we have anything that I didn't get to? Let's see. Oh, if Jen's here, she loves it. I treat her like a big sister. Isn't that Trump Dad thing? It's very odd. I don't know what that is. That's very odd. So, okay. I think I hit pretty much everything I wanted to, at least for tonight. So, let's look over here. How's everyone doing? We're doing. Oh, thanks. Good show, old chap. G'day. Thank you very much. Let's see. So I don't know what that was, but you know, the tiger throwing up was good right after that picture, I'd say. So let's see. What is this? The hairdo could fill a bad show. I hope that's not my hairdo, but yes. You do love the tiger spewing. Good. Okay. Well, because you said that, we need to have it again, at least one more time. Okay. And other people hate it. Okay, everyone's requesting their favorite drop. All right. How's this? This is, I think this probably for right now is my favorite. Everyone! I don't even know how he makes that noise. But yeah, so fun show, great show. Oh, good. Okay, good. I'm glad you're all enjoying it. So thank you. Okay. And Bill, you have a blank screen. Oh, no. And hey, Bill, by the way, you are the same Bill, I believe. He ordered soap. And so it was coming out to you. We'll work on it for next week. So thank you for that. And if you're interested in our soap, I have flyers that I printed up. And I'll send you the information. My wife and I make homemade soap. That's the best. And so if you're interested, just email me and we can figure that out. So. Okay, and you're welcome. I'm glad that you, thank you. I'm glad you had a good time, and I'm glad you did too. So, yes, okay. All right, so I guess let's do a prayer and thank everyone for being here. And let's just say, well, Father in heaven, please continue to guide us through these times. Guide us with your mercy, with your love, and show us your joy, so we can help others find you and find the joy and love that we find in this earth, in the world that we live in, throughout all the madness. Your presence, the Holy Spirit, your comforter, they comfort us through these times, and they help us navigate the crazy times we find ourselves in, and give us hope that there is a blessing coming to all of us at the end of this. And we just need to endure and hold on and be patient and kind to those waking up. And we thank you for all the new people showing up, and hope that they find the same love and wonderfulment that we found since we've made our relationship with you. I thank you for all of my blessings, including the blessing of being able to do this show and reach whoever you want me to reach. Thank you so much, God, for that. I thank you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. So, okay. Well, I guess that's it. Put a pin in me and I'm done. Or a fork? Put a fork. You get this.
Class is dismissed.
Don't forget, the end outro is a little different, so stick around if you want. And if not, make sure that we'll see you. God willing, we'll be here again next Friday. Same bat time, same bat channel. And yeah, I guess I just can't thank you enough for being here. I really do appreciate all the support and the love and the letters and everything. Keep it coming, and I'll just continue to do what I feel is God's purpose for me, and that's talking to all you lovely people. So thank you again. God bless you, and good night. Okay. Where's the outro? There it is. Good night. We'll fix that in post-edit.
I'm the satellite. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat.
Satellite transfer complete.